Hey guys, so it's Topic Tuesday, and as I think you probably all know, I am hiding out in the great state of Wisconsin. I'm here in Green Bay, working with a corporate client, Hobart Filler Metals, and doing some consult with them. And one of the things that really came across over the last couple of days, it's gonna get noisy for a second. Sorry guys, lots of people in the in the area here, obviously, but I thought I'd found a quiet place. Anyway, we talk a lot about the 4 M's, right? Those foundations of sustainable business. And when we're talking about the 4 M's, obviously we're talking about your mission first. Once you know your mission, then and only then can we move on to your market. Who are you going after? Who are you trying to attract, right? Then we have to talk from there about your medium. Where? Where are you going to talk to those folks in mass? And then finally, we can start talking about the messaging. You guys have done a great job over the last several weeks. We've really kind of reined in, I think, on most of your mission statements, and they're good. I mean, you guys are in good shape. You know what you do, you know who you do it for, and you know where to find those people. Now, the real question, I think, for the majority of us here in the Acceleration Academy is to start talking about that messaging. And what I really wanted to work on today before we get into messaging in regards to the pitch, right? I'm not talking about marketing, I'm talking about messaging. There's a difference, right? The marketing is that external. It's that, what do I put out there into the world to make sure that people are hearing me, right? What do I do to make sure that when it's time, people will answer the phone, people will respond to the email, whatever it might be, right? In essence, what we're doing, obviously, with the marketing is we're setting up the sale, right? So what we're talking about in messaging, though, is a little bit different. Messaging, to me, what we're really talking about is the communication of the value, right? So it's not necessarily a direct selling opportunity, all right? But it's talking about how do we present ourselves. And you guys know, I mean, I've spent a lot of time the last couple of weeks talking about that presentation and how we actually present in front of people and how to become a thought leader and find audiences that we can present in front of. But now I want to talk a little bit more this week about your existing marketing stuff, your packaging, your pricing model, all of those things that go into, am I going to be able to sell this out into the real world? So what I want you to do in preparation for Thursday is this. And I was going to say it's simply this. There's nothing simple about this. This is hard. And not only that, it is incredibly important. So I really hope you guys will take this one seriously. And I mean, I know you take all of them seriously, but I really hope that you'll spend some time with this. And then I'll figure out that if I move my head, the camera moves. So sorry about that. I don't know why I've got all that extraneous movement, but I'll fix it. I'll figure it out. So what I want you to do, I want you to take a look at what you have, your packaging. How do you present what you have to offer? If somebody says, send me something, what are you sending? If you have something, I want you to take a look at it. And I want you to put it through this filter. The filter is very simple. My mission, my market, my medium. Does this message fit? Does it make sense? A long time ago, when I was in radio, I, worked for a sports talk radio station, the largest sports talk in the state of Arizona at one point. And when I was there, I mean, think about who the audience is, right? We know what the mission is. The mission is to, talk sports all day, every day, and to make a lot of money selling advertising on there, right? We know what we're trying to accomplish. Not a problem. We know who we're talking to. We know who the demographic is for sports talk radio. It's me. It's men 45 plus with above average income. It's not, the sloppy guy in the wife beater t-shirt sitting on a couch with spaghetti sauce dripping down his chin. I mean, that's that stereotypical, but it's not real. So we knew who, and the how was fairly simple. So what we started to think about was, all right, well, with all of that said, when we start writing commercials, who's going to voice these commercials? Well, it made a lot of sense on TV to have the pretty model advertising the car dealerships, right? But when it came to sports talk radio, what the guys that were listening, it was primarily men, what they wanted to hear was my voice. They wanted to hear that kind of deep, that radio voice, right? They wanted to hear something that cut through the noise, the everything else, and brought them in. And so it was perfect. I was the perfect voice to sell, golf club memberships and higher end cars and homes and real estate packages and watches and jewelry and all of those things. Fast forward, 8, 10 years, and I'm working now instead of Arizona and instead of sports talk radio. Now I'm in Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm selling urban contemporary radio. Urban contemporary radio, for those that don't know, is basically radio for African American females. And typically, I mean, again, this is just the demo. It's not who it's for, right? But the demo, the 80/20 rule audience, what we call P1, listeners, it was African American, typically female, a little bit more so than men anyway. And in that same, 45 to 65 age range, 45 plus, right? And so all of a sudden, what are the products that we can market on that radio station? I mean, a lot of it was hair care products and, cellular phones and, some of these other things that were more commoditized, right? They're more of a commodity in some regards. And quite frankly, for that audience, my voice didn't make a whole lot of sense. We could use my voice. I could do all of that, but at the end of the day, the reality was I'm not selling those products as effectively, as efficiently. Stop moving, camera. As efficiently and as effectively as somebody who sounds more like the audience. So what we want to do today is we want to take a look at all of your materials, take a look at your packaging, your pricing. I mean, everything that you've got, if you have something, and we want to put it against that filter. Does it fit for the audience that we're trying to market to, right? Markley was a great example early on when I first saw the marketing materials, her price list. When she showed it to me, I was like, this is great if what you're really, really going for is mompreneurs. But if we're going to expand, if we're going to make your product based a little bit more broad, or your audience a little bit more broad, then we're going to have to, change up some of your packaging. And I think you'll see that on Thursday. Markley, I'd like you to, if you don't mind, I'd like to share your old and your new packaging. But again, that's what we want to do this week, guys. So dig in, focus. Let's take a look at the materials that we already have. If you don't have materials, that's okay too. Let's start putting some of those things together. If you need help, let me know. But let's start thinking about them at least. I mean, if we can't put them together physically, right? If you're not good with Canva, you don't know anybody who can do the design work, you don't know what colors to use, whatever. So be it. But let's start thinking about it. Let's put a plan together so that we can start creating some of that collateral material. All right. With that, guys, we are good to go. I will see you on Thursday night as scheduled, and really looking forward to seeing what you guys put together.